and talking about even confidence, Busola and AVM, I hope this is not is it about August people born in August? Happy birthday to both of you, right? At least
Thank
formally.
you, thank you.
Birthday. Have the days passed, so
that
they're
came
still
to them,
to come.
right?
Thank
So
you.
Busola, let's talk about AVM. I'll come back to you in a short while. So Busola, let's talk about this entitlement mentality. It's come up a couple of times, and I've seen it on the post now. That what is your attitude towards that entitlement mentality that the AVM spoke about, and you've talked about it also a couple of times. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Can you all hear me?
Yes, sure, we can. Yeah.
Okay. The entitlement mentality, for me as a person, I know that nobody owes me anything in life. So you have to go out and get whatever you want for yourself. Right. So with that mentality in me, I'm a go-getter. I go out and get whatever I want. So I tell people with disability that, a lot of times we think, because you have a disability, you should have this, you should have that, you should have that. But it's not going to come to you on a platter of gold. You need to go, you need to go for it, you need to search for it.
Right. Yeah.
Attitude, I always say that this is 100%. If you don't have the right attitude, you can't get anything in life.
Right. So thank you, Busola. That attitude is important, even especially when we're dealing with this entitlement mentality. So tell us, and why did you get up that Tuesday morning to still honor what the AVM, the invitation of the AVM? Because we didn't know you there. It was just, of course, I had seen the Benola ambassador and all that. So when the AVM said, that he would like to invite, is it okay to invite Busola to come on? I'm like, wow, that'll be great. Let's have Busola also join us here. But what made you say yes to that invitation, considering what had happened to you and the family on the Saturday before? And for our viewers or people listening, Busola's house had been engulfed in fire and had been burnt on the Saturday before. And so on Tuesday, so it was much later that I had said, on Tuesday coming for a program, if you had said to the AVM that I won't be able to come, I don't think anybody in this world will fault you for saying, I can't come, my house just got burnt or whatever, even if it's just from that traumatic aspect of it. What made you, because definitely that's a good example of not having an entitlement mentality. So what made you do that, and what message can you share from that? Can people learn from that?
What made me do that? I was done quite all right, but my mom said, my mom encouraged me that, okay, what is done is done. So, I have a mother who always pushed me to do things in life. She always believed that I can do anything that I want to do. So it was her that pushed me that, okay, so, you know what, you're going to go for that program. I don't know what God is going to do in that program, so you have to go. So, with that kind of mother and that kind of family, and they said, okay, don't worry, you see what you wear? You get something. So, and luckily for me, I had some of my clothes in my brother's house. So I just went back, picked my clothes, and I went to the disability fair. Wow. And I would say that my mom is my biggest fan.
Right. No, thank you so much, because even that in itself, every time I hear that story, it's always evokes something in me to say, because even my mom can say, okay, no, you can go, but I still look at it and say, but this is me now. I don't have that. But at least thank God for mothers. Someone said on the post there, it says that only a few people are ready to learn about the conditions of their children. AVM, now Busola is your daughter, you've got Olaolu there, and some of us also are your mentees, as it were. How do you encourage people to pay attention to what the needs of their children are in the light of this kind of comment on what Busola just said now? That how do you learn about the condition of your child, and how do you encourage your child, or how do you encourage the system to support your child? Because we might talk about the problems with the Nigerian system, the society, it doesn't have that. I'm not aware that even the Letshego building has a an elevator for people with disabilities right now, 2 years after, right?
We're not there yet, but we're getting
yeah,
there.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I know. I'm just saying that. But even in spite of that, we're working there. So in spite of that, there are advancements. People are overcoming odds. So how do parents? Because if we keep waiting for somebody to do something, if we're waiting until when Letshego gets there, that's when we want to go and apply for employment there. We'll probably wait. We'll be waiting for at least 2-3 years now. So how do you help parents even to learn about the conditions of their children and to support them, even just like Busola's mom did in this instance? AVM.
Well, first of all, let me doff my hat to Letshego. That is an awesome organization, and I wouldn't put it beyond the fact that they have a foreign background. Because in Nigeria, when you go to organizations that have some foreign background, hotels and all that, you find disability at restrooms, you find access, ramps and all that. So it's a wonderful thing. But to even come ahead and do this program and future Busola, it tells a lot. So thank you guys. Now,
thank you very much for that.
You see, what's the problem with parents? A lot of parents need help. They want somebody. You will see somebody say, government should do this, government should do that. And I keep telling them every time I speak to them, like once a month, and I say, look, I've been doing this thing for 9 years. When I started, I honestly didn't think I'll go for 2 years before I'll have a whole bunch of parents running their own advocacy programs. Because you know it in Nigeria, you start to fry akara in one corner and everybody, the next thing, 10 people have joined you. You start to do this, 10 people have joined you. I think that advocacy thing, it's not paying and so on. So most people just don't get it. They want people to do something for them. But I keep saying, we, the affected ones, the parents, the adults with disability must be the ones to come out and champion the cause of the ones that are yet unborn or the younger ones that are coming behind. And one of the things I say is that the parents must, first of all, they must accept as early as possible that their child has a disability that could be permanent. Just like missing limbs and, maybe deaf, and so on. These are limitations that if you focus too much time on, you will deny the child opportunity to grow at the pace at which the child is supposed to grow. Now, right. If you accept, and you'll do that by getting counseling, by getting the right kind of information about this condition, so you know what to accept, what to do, and how you can manage the child going forward. Then you have to practice inclusion in the home. There are lots of homes where you find only one person, maybe the mother, who is actually involved in managing this child. Some fathers will provide the money, but they won't be hands-on. And that is frustrating. Some people don't even bring up the other children to understand and to support the management of their sibling. So we must do inclusion in the home. Once we are practicing inclusion in the home, it becomes easy for anybody who comes to that home to see that, yes, the Nigerians want to help, and they always know somewhere where you can go. And it is up to those parents to say, no, this is not something about going to one mountain or something for prayer or some native medicine and all. This is the situation, and this is what we're doing to manage it and so on. Then we now come to the aspects of disclosure, where you begin to feel free to tell people at work, at play, in your place of worship, about your special child. And believe me, when you start doing that, help starts coming in ways you don't understand or you cannot even imagine. And once you have done that, then you start inclusion in society, where you have to start taking your child out freely. At first, some people will not be happy about it. Some people will not be comfortable with the child, but that's also an opportunity for you to educate people about the condition of your child. Of course, we have to take good care of the child, what the child needs. And then you join advocacy. You start talking about it from a point of knowledge. And then you also start pushing for accessibility, transport, everything, and so on. Before you know it, you're championing your child's case. And because you have done that, your child grows up confident,
Right, right,
confident
right.
about what they're doing.
Good.
And
And that speaks to that confidence that we talked about Busola. So, sorry, AVM, about Busola. I just want to now talking about mentoring. Mentoring is about influence and guidance towards achieving a goal. Busola, how has your experience working with or being mentored by AVM, how did that prepare you even for the work at Letshego now? Because I mean, Letshego is 2 years plus now, but then you had been around with the AVM for more than about 6 of the 7 years looking for work. How did that help you prepare for what you're doing now?
Okay. Um, Working with daddy has been fun. Sometimes it's fun. I say, "So he did do that for even more than a mentor to me, even a father. It's
Right.
incorporated into me like confidence because I needed confidence to go up in life. So I needed confidence to go up to the top in life. So it gave me the confidence I needed. It gave me whatever I needed. And it had the right attitude because most people with disability don't have the right attitude. I keep saying it. So, you need to have the right attitude, Even when he scolded me, I explained back to him that, okay, daddy, what am I going to do now? So, that is father-daughter relationship going on. So,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
daddy.
Good. So tell us about, are there particular pieces of advice that you got from him that you implemented and helped you to become better and to prepare you even for what story we're talking about today?
Okay, there's a time I just want to talk about CP.
Okay. Okay, so Busola's screen
we lost that for a minute there.
yeah, for a minute there. Okay. All right. So we'll just give us some time to come on back there. Let's say for you now. Tell us, just help us even as we wait for Busola. What are some of the
Okay.
things that when we say let's say, I know we still have a session where Busola's managers and peers will also talk about their own experience. Last week, the CEO talked about the 2 years plus that Busola has been there, and she's never had any cause to settle any quarrel or to sort out any bad behavior
Exactly.
or even bad work or all
Yeah.
that. How would you describe even Busola working at, let's say, from your own project, country manager, project point of view, project management point of view?
I think, if I'm being honest, Busola has said it already. She said the right attitude, but I think it's also the willingness to help. Like as soon as you get on her floor and you ask a question, she's literally there to say, "Oh, do you want this or do you want that?" Or I can't help you, but I can find out who can. And guess what? It doesn't even matter what ability or non-ability you have. Just the right willingness to help is really what makes you stand out from the next employee or the
Right.
next customer. So for me, irrespective of who you are, you need to be in a position to help other people. And that's
Good.
one message I'm hoping everyone can take from this, as well as the right attitude, because that's really what it boils down to.
Right, right. And because even when we talk about the private sector, and because
Yeah.
when we talk about, if we say it's a public sector government, there's that sense of, okay, maybe there's an entitlement, is government money, is nobody's money, is my own share of it. But private sector now, you guys have to answer to your shareholders and you must
Exactly.
turn a profit. So even if
Yeah.
you're going to hire somebody with disability, you must be able to go answer back to your shareholders and say, are we turning a profit? Are we making money even out of this? Because at the end of the
Yeah.
day, no one owes you a living, as Busola keeps saying. Nobody owes you that.
You're really
So,
good, yeah.
from a shareholder's private sector perspective, looking at issues of people with disabilities, what are things that you will want to share with us out there, with people with disabilities, people looking for employment, people that we need to go back and even mentor and speak to? What are the things that the private sector is looking for when it comes to working with people with disabilities and still meeting the mandate of your shareholders?
So first of all, I apologize. My background's really noisy, so I apologize in advance. I do
Go
apologize.
ahead.
So there's an education factor that's missing, and that's the honest truth. So from the shareholder level, you're speaking to the directors, the employees, management team, there's an education factor, and we're getting there. So the scenario you described, it's as simple as giving our directors the feedback. Literally after that event last year, no, 2 years ago, we literally said to our shareholders, this is what we did. We send them the clips of why we did it, why we supported them. And guess what? We got their buy-in. So we can educate at that level and it trickles down. That's it. Once you get them on board and it cascades down, that culture changes like that. To be honest with you, you meet Busola, you can hear that, oh, there's certain things she's not speaking. But guess what? Everyone's willing to listen to what she's saying because she has that right attitude. And that culture has cascaded on all the way through. So it starts with education. It starts with education, and you will change it. That narrative is changing Nigeria. I'm 100%. Over and beyond Letshego, it's changing.
Oh yeah.
It starts with education.
And thanks for blazing the trail, even getting this started and going. Right, Busola, thank you very much for you. Busola, glad to have you back. You were going to share with us some of the pieces of advice that you got from the soldier man AVM. You know, when you say AVM, it sounds very soft, but let's not forget that this is a soldier talking to you now. So you know, when you say soldier is instructing you or guiding you, then tell us a bit, Busola.
It could be very hard on me, but I just saw it as somebody that, you know, wanted to me to get to the top. You know, if you're going to get to the top, you needed to be hard on somebody. So, you know, I just say like my dad. So if my dad scolded me, would I speak to him back? No, I wouldn't speak to him back. So that's the way I saw him. So even when he scolded me, I said, okay, Daddy, what am I going to do now? And he told me what to do, and I followed it. And it gave me that confidence that, you know, so you can go anywhere you want to go. I can do anything you want to do in life.
Great. No, thanks, Busola. So AVM, tell us, what kind of support would you put in place for mentoring people? Let's use a Busola example. You talked about other people, some that didn't take to what you were saying or how you did it or whatever. What kind of support can be learned from this example, the story between yourself and Busola, culminating into what we're talking about today?
Well, the main thing is for the story to go viral. Those who passed to Benola, a couple of them have, you can imagine somebody being with you for 3 years, really being with you, and then suddenly walking away and seeing you at an event and it's like you don't exist. And then totally, you not showing up on your, not even showing up on your social media handles and so on. But a couple of them, I think, based maybe with the solar situation and all, have started to at least say hello. One or two of them wish me happy birthday on Friday and so on. It's a way of coming back. But again, because of the attitude, some of them want to come back. They don't want to apologize. Okay? And the truth is that if you have been burnt, you have to be apprehensive about getting hit again a second time. Because what happens in the disability industry is that many people tell you they want to volunteer. But by the back of their minds, they're expecting to get paid.
Right. Okay.
Then they're also expecting, or they're also coming in to learn some tricks. So once they think they know what's going on, they just walk away. And then you discover the next thing they've also floated some NGO or the other, and so on. And so like we said, they must have the right attitude. They must be willing. When you're talking of mentorship, it's not, I have a guy who is 60 plus who came to see me yesterday. He keeps insisting. He's a retired person that I'm his mentor. And I keep laughing. I said, I don't understand what he said, just hanging around you for an hour or so every once in a while. Talking chit-chat helps him. Okay? So it's about being willing, making yourself available. You can't tell me that you want me to, at least talk to you and we fix an appointment for an hour. And then 2 hours later, you are nowhere to be seen. In fact, some people, it is the next day they will call you and say, sorry, I couldn't make it yesterday.
Aha.
And
So
it's like,
let me pause. Let me press pause there again now, because I was going to ask and say, please give us some practical tips, some practical examples, because when we say have the right attitude, that sounds very generic, very broad. So now when you now get into the specifics of not even honoring times set with somebody you have an appointment with, let alone your mentor, that is not the right kind of attitude. So I want you to give more of those kind of particular examples of what you've seen. I mean, in terms of your experience, you've seen quite a number of these things. So what is it that we need to guard against or people should not do? Because going forward, at the end of the day, if you want a Fei or a Busola, even if for a Busola to recommend somebody, I mean, I know Busola once said that there are some people that she herself cannot even recommend in there. And at times they say, oh, she's just arrogant or whatever. But then what are the things that people need to pay attention to be able to get that referral, which skips a lot of hurdles and barriers? Because yeah, we were joking. If I said to someone, I said to the AVM, if you want to get a job, then go speak to the AVM. Let the AVM recommend you. If the AVM recommends you, you would have scaled a lot of hurdles that people will not be asking in there. But how do you get to the point where the AVM or even a mentor or people like, I see Mrs. Emua is on the platform, how do you get such people even to make that recommendation for you? What are the things that we need to pay attention to, particularly as persons with disabilities or people who work with such people?
for instance, if somebody comes to me and say, I need a job,
yes, sir.
I just look at you and say, that's not my problem. You need to do your homework. You need to figure out what you can do. What are you qualified for? Where do you want, maybe, I mean, if you want to get a job at Letshego,
Yeah.
go and find out who the MD is. Get me the MD's number. You understand?
Right.
No, I don't have time to start running around for you. Now, if you want a job, if I say, okay, I have this friend, there is a cleaning appointment open, somebody say, can you imagine? Cleaner. You know, it becomes a source of insult. I'm not a young man. I mean, I've lived my life, okay? And I've had all kinds of experiences. So there are minimum things that you expect from people. And it's just that they have done their homework, okay?
So do your
and then
homework.
They are willing, like I said, they are available and willing to be mentored. So I'll tell you, there was this chap with CP. When his uncle spoke to me, and he's about 3 hours drive from where my office is. And he called me and he said he would like to come and see me. And I laughed. I said, you have CP, can you come? He said, he takes public transport. I said, really? And we fixed an appointment. And honestly, if I said 12 o'clock, a few minutes to 12, he was in my office. That tells you that this is some guy that you can work with. Okay? So, like I'm saying, there are parents who would say they really need, they just call me at 8 or 9 p.m.
Right.
One lady called me at 11. There's an issue with her child. CP is not an emergency. Okay? I'm willing to talk to you. I talk to parents for over an hour. But I've decided to operate within working hours. It's my job. It's not a pastime. So I say, Madam, can you call me? I think it was like a Saturday. I said, can you call me on Monday between 10 and 2 p.m. so that we could